It is the big day today. All eyes on Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. There you can see these are the live visuals that we're getting right now. These are the live visuals that you can see on your screens right now. That's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. All eyes will be on the budget. Nirmala Sitharaman is all set to present the budget this time around. What are the expectations? What are the taxpayers expecting this time around? That is something we will be focusing on through the course of the day. India also released its economic survey report on 2023 to 24 on Monday. The survey is key because it acts as a base for the government's budgetary allocations. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is expected to lay the roadmap for India's financial and economic journey going ahead. What do the Indians want from the budget? That is the big question. That is something we'll be exploring through the course of the day on WION The World is One. These are the live visuals that we're getting right now from New Delhi. There are expectations of tax relief, GST exemption, measures for the middle class in the Finance Minister's speech that will be closely watched out for. These are the live visuals that we're getting right now. Siddhant, thank you so much for now. Actually, for more on this, we're being joined by a principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibbal, as well. Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I want to start by asking you, these are the live visuals that we're getting on our screens right now. What is the latest on ground? And in fact, I want to begin by asking you, what were the big takeaways for you from the economic survey?
Well, it's a big day here in India. The budget will, of course, be placed in the parliament later today. And this is the first budget of the Modi government in its third term. Significant in many senses. Now, essentially, the budget tells us about the expenditure, the revenue, the borrowing, and all these details. And will there be any big-ticket announcements as well? Will it be a reformist budget? Will it be a populist budget? We'll get to know by 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. But essentially, we know that the budget, of course, will lay out the plan of the Indian government, not just for next financial year, but also a vision statement for next 5 years. And as the Indian government says, for the Amrit Kal period, that is a 25-year period till 2047. Now, essentially, we know that ahead of the budget session, the budget announcement, the first day of the budget session, saw the economic survey being placed in the parliament, where we saw the focus of how the Indian economic growth will pan out. It's a good estimate that has been given by the economic survey. But in terms of the international dimension, we know that significant mention of China in the economic survey, talking about, of course, how India needs to integrate with the supply chains when it comes to China, and there needs to be more FDI coming from China. But all in all, a big day for India, and we will get more visuals live on as to how the officials and the ministers reach the Finance Ministry and then later on to the Parliament.
Absolutely, Siddhant. In fact, I was just going to come to this. This budget is going to be watched out for globally as well. Everyone will be tracking India's economic journey. What can you tell us about the expectations and the impact of India's economic journey globally? Siddhant, can you hear me?
Well, when it comes to the expectations from the budget, there will be a lot of expectations, whether it's the Aam Aadmi, the common man, or whether it's the businesses. And now, of course, the stock market will also be carefully watching the budget announcements when it comes to various taxes, corporate tax and other details. But essentially, if I might go into the international aspect, the Indian budget is not only closely watched here in India, but also in the regional capitals from Thimphu to Male, from Colombo to, of course, Mauritius. We know that India has been regularly announcing its support to these countries, whether it's in terms of grant, whether it's in terms of loans to support their economic development. In fact, what was the most interesting part is that while there has has been a Taliban takeover in Afghanistan, the Indian budget continues to basically give details on as to how there will be support to the Afghan people.
Right now, Siddhant, let's also talk about what the people of India want from the budget. I want to ask you, what are the taxpayers' expectations?
Well, essentially, the big focus during the budget remains on issues like infrastructure, like manufacturing, and of course the defense aspect as well. Something that will be closely watched is the announcements when it comes to the defense. We know that India has been progressively increasing its support to the defense sector at a time when it faces security challenges both from Pakistan and from China. So that is something that will be closely watched in the budget that will be announced very shortly. But the other sectors that will be focused during this year's budget will be the social sector as well, agriculture as well. Whether there will be stops for the farmers is something that will be closely watched.
Right, Siddhant, you mentioned China, and in fact I was just going to come to this. Beyond the domestic triumphs we've seen in the economic survey as well, it highlighted the need to plug into China's supply chain. I just wanted a little more clarity on that. What can you tell us?
Well, yes, the economic survey, when it comes to the announcements related to China and of course India, is significant, because if you look at the Indian government's policy regarding China, India has made it clear that whatever happens at the border will have a wider implications on the relationship, and that remains. But what the economic survey has pointed is something of a practical aspect. First, of course, India needs to get integrated with the larger supply chains regarding China, and secondly, when it comes to getting FDI from China, that is something that it has pointed, which is a kind of a new development when it comes to India-China relationship, because this is a major policy document, and this policy document basically talking about as to how India needs to get more FDI is something that is significant. We know that there have been visa restrictions, more scrutiny on the Chinese investments in India, but will the advice in the economic survey be adopted as a policy is something that will be closely watched. India, of course, has been focusing on making sure that its manufacturing grows very fast, and for that we know that India has been trying to garner support, international support. The Atmanirbhar Bharat project is something that is part of it, and India has been able to get that.
All right. Well, Siddhant, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We'll, of course, continue to track all the developments closely with you as well. Thank you so much for joining us for now. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.